I decided to play my least favorite deck currently in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at Mikanko. Now the reason for this is because before I condemn a deck to basically never seeing play or not deserving of play, I decide to play it myself. If I hate a deck, I'm going to play it to see why people enjoy it, and maybe I will change my mind. I do often go into these with an open mind, and that is still the case with Mikanko. I went into this being like, hey, if I enjoy playing this deck, I will enjoy playing this deck. And it will be fun, and I will enjoy it. However, that doesn't change my opinion on whether or not I enjoy playing against it. So, do keep that in mind going forward. So, going into this, I was, first of all, just sad by how expensive this deck is for, like, no reason. Every single one of these cards are, like, URs or SRs for no reason, which is hilarious, but hey, waifu tax. So, starting off with, I just kind of like threw this deck together. As you can see, you've probably already noticed because you are a Mikanko player and went, why does he hate this deck? So, we'll get to that at the end, but as you could probably tell, I'm not playing Double-Edged Sword. Why? Because I forgot to craft it. And then I just like started playing games and I was like, it's funnier if I just don't play it. That was it. It's also a UR for no reason, so I'm just not playing it. Don't follow my lead. Don't do what I do. Craft Double-Edged Sword and play it instead of Axe of Fools. But also Axe of Fools is very funny, so there you go. Moving on, we're playing Triple Ash Blossom as well as a whole bunch of Triple Mexi, as well as a whole bunch of tributes. We're playing 2 Lava Golem, 2 Thunder King, the Lightning Kaiju, or the Lightning Strike Kaiju, and 2 Jizukiru. I don't know why we're playing 2 a piece of each of these, but yeah, there we go. These just have the highest attack stats for the Kaijus, but you could play 3 of one and 1 of the other. It really doesn't matter. Anyway, moving on, we have ourselves the Mikankos. We are playing 2 Hare. We are playing triple Huli, because these are the best ones. This one searches when it's attached to, it searches another equip spell, so that's pretty strong. This one searches a trap card, but also this one protects from targeting, which is absolutely insane. So if, for example, you were to summon it off of the Arabesque, I'm going to say Arabesque, you basically get a free untargetable board for the rest of your turn. It's kind of dumb. We also have Hare, which is, I believe it also protects from card destruction, if you have it, if it's equipped. Cannot be destroyed by battle, yada yada. No, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, this one just searches an equip spell, which is nice. However, Nini, we're also playing one of this one. The reason for it is because it can take a monster your opponent controls, which is pretty good. And just being able to, like, quick effect take a face-up monster your opponent controls is pretty good. Yeah, that's it. That's all that I have to say. I just like it. I like having the option to play this card. So there you go. We're also, of course, playing Triple Ohime. This card searches a card, which is very, very strong. It also then discards a card, so you could play it in tier. I'm not going to do that, but you could, in theory, also play this in tier. But yeah, Ohime is actually a pretty decent card, all things considered. It's actually insane. Just being able to reveal it and then grab up a card. You could also grab the card that special summons it, which is an option. It's weird. Yeah, this card's pretty good. And so because of that, we're also playing Triple Preparations of Rites. Also, this is not a ritual deck. You do not ritual summon. There are no ritual spells. This technically can special summon a Mikanko card, but it doesn't ritual summon anything. This is never ritual summoned. I don't even know if they can ritual summon. There might be a card that ritual summons, but you're sure as hell not doing it in this deck. Is it this one? No, I don't think anything actually ritual summons. It's just special summoning. So, yeah, not a ritual deck. If you say it's a ritual deck, you're lying to yourself. Moving on. We are playing one piece of the Fire Dance, which allows you to revive from the grave. This one, green. We'll call it green. The Mikanko Dance. That's what it's called. Which, if it's in the grave, revives from the grave. This one, if it's in the hand, revives from the grave, which is cool. So we're playing one piece of each of those. And then we're also playing the Snatch Steal. It's just Snatch Steal. That's all that it is. You just take your opponent's monster. That's all that it does. So yeah, there you go. We're playing one piece of all of those. And then Triple Arabesque. This card can attach to any monster, and then you bounce the monster and special summon another of your Mikankos from the deck, I believe, from hand or deck, and then attach it to this as well. Which basically means you attach this to an opponent's monster, you bounce it back to the hand, and you immediately get your Huli, which is now full target protection, which is dumb and why I don't like this deck. Yeah, you just basically don't get to interact with your opponent unless you have non-targeting stuff, which, you know, some people do, but very rarely is that the case. Moving on to the rest of the cards, we are playing one apiece of Harpy's Feather Duster, the Triple Tactics Talents, as well as Triple Tactics Thrust, and one Axe of Fools. These are pretty self-explanatory. Axe of Fools is a way to utilize Rivalry to get a negate onto your opponent. So you can either snatch, steal, or negate with the Rivalry. So there's that. Oh, also Rivalry, if you control a Mikanko, you target a face-up card your opponent controls and equip it with an equip spell from your deck. So there you go. Those are our two targets for it. That's also the only real reason we're playing the Reflection. Moving on, we are playing the 2 Hidden Armory, as well as 2 Pot of Extra, as well as 2 Lightning Storm. In the extra, nothing matters. Nothing matters in the extra, just it's kind of Zeus access with like Nightmare Shark and Fortune Tune in order to go into Zeus, and a whole bunch of other random cards that we will never summon, because we don't need to. Moving on, let's just hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going second. Let's see what we can do. We did end up drawing the triple tack, which is pretty nice. My opponent is going to go Lantern Shark. Pass. Cool, my turn. I'm gonna draw into the Arabesque, that's fine. I'm gonna go for the Preparation of Rites. My opponent will go for the Ash Blossom, and I go, cool, well now I can triple tack. And I actually decided to look at my opponent's hand here, and the reason for this is pretty simple, but I don't really know what else is in their hand, and I kind of have full combo, so I'm like, oh, okay, let me look at, maybe they have like a Ghost Ogre or a Maxi or something like that. Maybe that'll fetch it out. It was just another Lantern Shark, and probably the worst card I've ever seen in my entire life. Chaos Draw. So not exactly great. Should have just drawn 2, but it's whatever. So we're going to bounce this Lantern Shark just to get the Huli so that we have full target protection. I'm going to grab Rivalry, and then we're going to activate the Hidden Armory. And I end up sending the Hare, which is pretty cool. So I just grab Fire Dance to reborn the Hare, and then we get an additional search, and we get to special summon back the Ash Blossom to deal a bit more damage. I grab the Arabesque because I can't really search anything else out, deal a bunch of damage, and then just set the Rivalry and pass. To which my opponent will go Twin Twister to just Cosmic Cyclone it. Yeah, let it be known, my opponent literally had one other opportunity in which to Twin Twister, which was on the Arabesque. So there's that. Not exactly great. So yeah. Fun deck. My opponent normal summons Lantern Shark and then goes into Rebarion. Because what they drew for turn was Abyss Shark. You'll love to see it. They're going to go for the Abyss Shark and grab up the Crystal Shark. Crystal Shark will special summon itself, and then they will go into Nash Knight. Now, notably, Nash Knight does not target. So, of course, they can now deal with my board by, you know, grabbing the Huli. Or they could just do the opposite thing and not grab the Huli and grab the other one. Huh? Okay. Now, granted, I'm playing against a Shark player, so I don't expect the most intelligence from them, but that's fine. We basically have the game here, so, you know. Yeah, I'm not going to explain this one. We did it! Woo! Alright, here we are going second. Let's see what we can do. We drew Lava Golem, Harpy's Feather Duster, and nothing else. So let's hope we draw an equip spell of some kind. My opponent is going to reveal a whole bunch of cards off of Pot of Prosperity, and oh! Oh, there we go. It's Kashira. Cool. Yeah, this game's already over. It doesn't matter. It's over. It's over. It's so over. If I draw any equip spell, the game is so over. Let's see what we can do here. Actually, that's not entirely true. The game's not entirely over if I don't draw the correct equip spell. And it depends on their end board, but alas, they end on the single Arise Heart, and I do happen to draw for turn, probably the best card it could be, Hidden Armory. Fun. Cool, well, here's this. They now go for the Maxi. I go, dope. I get rid of the Fenris for reasons, but they're going to chain the Maxi. I kind of figured they had this. This is why I'm going for the Ceremony here to special summon the Huli. This is also why I got rid of the Fenris, but now we can just go Harpy's Feather Duster and wipe my opponent's board. Yeah, the game's over. The game's over. We go Hidden Armory, and my opponent concedes. Now, granted, technically the game is not actually over, because I do need an actual equip spell to do anything there, but if I do have an equip spell in my hand, yeah, my opponent does die, and I grab the double edge, and then I equip it to the guy, and then they lose. But that's fine. Good game. Now, what happens if you go first? Well, here's what happens. Nothing. You pass. And you go, okay, kill me. I activate the Maxi. My opponent activates Swords of Revealing Light. I can't beat that. Go. I'm not even activating Ohime. Sure, I could to like search additional cards. I don't want to. I just don't want to do that. So, smile. I draw another Kaiju. Cool. Yeah. I can't beat swords. It's too powerful. What do you want from me? Blade Knight! Alright. Now, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. This isn't a real deck. This is like, what are you playing in, like, silver? Absolutely. Absolutely. You think I'm not playing in silver? Of course I'm playing this in a terrible area. Of course I'm playing against these decks. You think I'm gonna bring this against actual players? I don't want to ruin other people's days. These people already had their days ruined by existing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, it's fine. I give them a Thunder King just so that I can bounce it back to my hand and get ashed. So that's cool. We're gonna go for the Ohime here. We're gonna grab the Huli, because technically it's a normal summon, but I'm actually just going to send it to the graveyard and search out the Fire Dance. Fire Dance will then grab us the Huli, and then we can go from there. I'm also going to Reborn the Blade Knight, because it's funny, and then we're going to grab Rivalry. I'm just going to pass, because I literally can't attack in 2 swords. Cool. At this point, the game is over. They go for Fissure, and then they Tribute Summon Dark Magician, and click Dark Magic Expanded. Wild. Also, Fissure didn't do anything cool. Yeah, I don't really... Every time I play this deck, it just... Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Here you go. Special summon the Ohime. Great. Now we get to send a card to the graveyard, and you know what we're sending. We're sending the Monster Reborn, or the Green Reborn, to special summon back the Huli. Cool. I just needed a few more attack points, so here's the Jizukiru. Good game. Alright, here we are once again going second. Yep. I don't have anything to say. This is a good hand. Cool. My opponent is playing Rescue Ace. Okay, this could be interesting. Rescue Ace has stuff that it can do. However, all of its stuff targets. So there's that. My opponent makes IP Masquerena. Activates the effect. Special summon back the Rescue Ace. Seems pretty good. We're going to go for the Turbulence. Turbulence Special. Activate the effect. Setting individually each card. Why does it do this? Why do you have to set individually? Anyway, it's fine. They're going to also activate the alert to search out Impulse. Set 1 and pass. Cool. None of that mattered. None of that mattered. I'm going to activate Pot of Prosby. Last card in hand is Ash. Wild. Last unknown is Ash. That's fine. Hidden Armory. Dumping the Hare. Because I'm just better. I grab a second Arabesque, and then I just bounce my own Kaiju back. And we summon the Huli. And guess what? My opponent lost to time because they can't target my monster. Fun. I genuinely wish that I could have shown you a good game. I didn't have one. No, I didn't play, like, 5,000 games to try and find a good game. Because, to me, I still played about 10 games, I think. And to me, at some point, I should have had an interesting game. And I didn't. None of those games were interesting. And this is my critique with Mikanko, and why I don't enjoy it. Neither to play nor to play against. Mostly to play against. I think it's a whatever deck to play. It's like, okay, but it's not my favorite. Nor is it something that I would arguably come back to. And the reason for this is very simple, but it's not fun. It's very non-interactive. The whole idea of the deck, at least in Master Duel, is basically don't interact with your opponent, right? Because you can't prepare in a best of one for the deck that you are going to play against, if you go first, you are unwittingly playing into a Mikanko board, and you literally can't interact half of the time with the stuff that they do. A lot of it is tributing your monsters, which you can't interact with, or just like setting up a Huli that also you just can't interact with, right? There's very few instances where you actually have an opportunity to do something. Yes, there are a few instances, but by that point, if you actually do hit those, the game just ends. So it's not like you're actually doing anything to Mikanko, it's just preventing them from playing the game, or preventing you from playing the game. And on top of that, because of the way that this deck specifically interacts, you actually getting a big attack point monster is detrimental for you. Which means a lot of boss monsters immediately become bad to summon. You get punished for playing the game. When you don't play the game, you're much better off, right? That's the biggest issue. And that is something that I do not enjoy about Mikanko, and probably never will. It's just too uninteractive. It's too bland and boring and nothing, right? It feels very much so like, I don't know, a deck made to do something else entirely that ended up being this. I think the idea is pretty interesting. The equip cards giving you additional effects and basically preventing you from actually, like, or not preventing, but like actually doing something with equip cards, whether that's equipping at quick effect speeds to like the opponent to get additional effects as well. And like honestly, I do like the idea. It's just that in practice, because of the 0 attack stat line, giving you the ability to basically OTK because you have no attack through your effects, it just makes it a non-interactive deck. Probably the most non-interactive, more so than Floodgates and Stun. Because at the very least with Stun, you kind of can do something, because playing the game is inherently good for you. If you end on a big boss monster like Kashtira Riseheart and your opponent is playing Stun, that's still good. Because at the very least, you can still like attack with it. You can still banish a card if they don't have like a skill drain or something like that. You can still do something with it, right? Or even just summoning a monster is inherently good, because oftentimes your opponent doesn't have a way to deal with said big monster, right? So if you like normal summon a Fenrir, all of a sudden that becomes a problem for your opponent. If it's Stun. But if it's this deck, summoning any monster could just be the death of you. So there you go. There are my thoughts. Hopefully it made sense as to why I'm not the biggest fan of this. I've talked about this on length, but yeah, me playing it didn't really change that opinion. I still think that it's a terrible deck, just in general. I think it's so poorly designed, but so many people enjoy it because of waifus. Like, I genuinely cannot think of another reason why so many people enjoy it, other than it's a very simple deck that gets you a lot of wins because it's simple and easy and doesn't require thought process, and people literally can't counter it because they cannot prepare for it. And waifus. Those are the only two reasons. It's a simple deck that gets easy wins because people can't prepare for it, and waifu. So, now I don't hate waifu decks, but I do hate what most of them end up being, because for the most part, they're just boring. Except for Tier. It's like the one deck that isn't boring. At least that's a waifu deck. But that's beside the point. All in all, I don't know. This didn't really change my mind. Some of the games were... Most of the games were just sad. It was mostly like, oh, my opponent didn't read what Huli does. Cool. I don't blame you either, because it's like halfway down, you know? Where is it? While you control an equip card, your opponent cannot target Mikanko cards you control with card effects. It's not up here, it's not down here, it's like right in the middle, right where it's difficult to see. Anyway, that's beside the point. It doesn't really matter. The deck exists, and I'm not a fan of it. Moving on. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much appreciated. And if you want to see more content like this, that's not Mikanko, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.